Let me. All right, everybody. Well, welcome first and foremost to our lunch and learn prior to school starting. If you were here just a moment ago, I was just talking with Sharon. I'm going to let her. I'm going to turn it over to her shortly. One of the particular reasons that we wanted to have the opportunity to invite COABE, or the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, to our WACE group, is that I've had the opportunity to utilize several of their resources over the years, and particularly wanted to highlight some of those with all of you today, let you know a little bit about COABE, what they can provide to us, and then also hopefully have Sharon show us some of those amazing resources. And in the end, this is not just an ad for joining COABE. I promise you on that. It's also but at the same time, if it is an organization that can definitely benefit you and or your institution, we hope you will consider it. No kickbacks. No kickbacks. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're spreading the wealth and letting everybody know about the opportunities that are available out there, particularly around adult basic education and some of those national resources. Not to mention, COABE is housed in our own backyard. So it's something that we really want to be able to support, since they are a Florida-based national organization. And I'm sure Sharon will have a little bit more to say about that. So as I do that, I will turn you over now to Sharon Bonney, who is the CEO for COABE, and I will let her take the reins. So welcome, and welcome on behalf of AFC and the Waste Commission.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's really a pleasure to be here with you all. And I was delighted when Steve reached out and asked if I could share a little bit about COABE, because there is really such a great connection to community college and to workforce. You're likely aware that although WIOA Title II programs have to be able to demonstrate that they have connected the learner with a community college or with a job, or they're not able to get the funding. So there really is a great connection there at the local level. But then at the state level, our organization works with ACE of Florida. So if you're a member of ACE of Florida, you're a member of COABE. If you're not a member of ACE of Florida, we recommend that you do join them, and you get a 2-for-1 rather than join COABE directly. So just wanted to mention that. So our mission, as you see here, is to inspire educators so adults succeed and communities thrive. We represent 79,000 teachers and administrators in the WIOA Title II system, and they are working out of over 2,000 local programs. Now, our numbers are a bit higher than what you might see on NRS in terms of serving the millions of learners, and that's because a number of our programs, in fact, 25% of them are CBOs, so they're not even counted on the national reporting system. So I just wanted to mention that. So according to our figures and what our programs share with us, they're serving more than 3.2 million learners nationwide. Right now, we are embarking on preparation for National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, and that is taking place September 18th through the 22nd. I did want to just mention that we do have a prep webinar on August 28th. Of course, it's free of charge, and that will take place at 2 Eastern. Why is this so important? Because there is so much great work taking place in the field, and this is a week where we come together all across the country and showcase the great work that's taking place. So there are a number of local programs that will be meeting with their mayors. They will have proclamations. They will have national book days. They will have open storefronts. They'll do all sorts of things to raise visibility at the local level. And then at the state level, there will be the statewide celebrations with our state associations and state directors. And then at the national level, our organization will be in DC. We will have a number of legislative visits. We will have a legislative briefing on the 21st of September. And our goal will just be to raise visibility and to make sure that legislators and the public and the funders know that adult education is truly making an impact. So we invite you to join us. Of course, there's no charge for any of this. You can join us virtually or in person. There's a schedule of events on our website. But one of the things we take great pride in is being the voice for adult education nationwide. We do have an app, of course, that's free as well. You can download and get on there, and you would see that there is so much networking taking place. There is a lot of discussion about Adult Ed and Family Literacy Week. There's a lot of connections from the local programs to the community colleges and to workforce. So that's an option for you there as well. So our organization has a State Association Leadership Institute, known as SALI, and a State Advocate for Adult Education Fellowship, known as SAFE. And what we do is we bring those two entities together to really advocate for adult education. And the reason why we did this is when the CARES Act funding was available, 84% was left on the table by adult education. What we saw was that they really needed some support at the state level. So that's why we formed these two collaborations, and we encourage them to work closely together and with their state directors. We also have a national padlet of activities and events, and this is where anything from like a graduation or a proclamation by a mayor, governor, a member of Congress, a book fair, those sorts of things will all go in here. And last year we had hundreds and hundreds of activities, which was exciting. And the goal is to really just showcase that there are visibility activities taking place all across the country. Next, I wanted to mention that we are in the process of working on this national digital equity campaign. We have fact sheets, resources, and we also have a newly formed digital change agent collaboration. This is really because we know there's the BEAD Act funding out there and digital equity funding, and we want to make sure that adult education is included because so many of our friends in the field were excluded from the CARES Act funding, yet they had so much extra bills and expenses such as PPE and that sort of thing. So we are very excited about this, and we will be most likely holding a virtual symposium during Digital Inclusion Week, which is October 2nd through the 6th, but there'll be more details on that shortly. We also hold a national conference. This is the largest convening of adult educators in the world. We bring together thousands of adult educators and adult learners, as well as partners from all over the country. And this next one will be held in Nashville, Tennessee, March 17th through the 20th. So we invite you to come join us. There'll be over 400 concurrent sessions. There'll be an entire tract or strand dedicated to community colleges and an entire strand dedicated to workforce. So we invite you to come join us for that.
Sharon, a quick question about that. Is that, if I remember correctly, it's not only in Nashville, it's being held at the Gaylord, is that correct?
Yes, at the Gaylord.
Well, having been a born and bred Nashvilleian, I highly encourage conferences at the Gaylord. They are amazing, and the Gaylord is a great location if you guys haven't been there. And, while you're there, say hi to my people. So.
Well, that's a great point, Steve, because we do expect that the hotel registration will be closed up quickly. So if you're interested in going, I recommend that you go in and make your reservation to attend. And we do expect our biggest turnout for this conference, so it should be a lot of fun. We do have a gentleman who is a former adult learner who got his GED during the pandemic. He also is the winner of America's Got Talent, and so he'll be coming in and opening up the conference and sharing his story and many more like that, but just wanted to share that with you. We also hold multiple webinars each month. They're free to members. We hold about 50 webinars, and they have served thousands of teachers and administrators in the field. So once you're a member of COABE, you're welcome to participate in those. They're typically thematic, and what we do is we look at the best of the best presenters from our national conference and then ask them to consider presenting for our webinars. So usually they're really, really high quality. We also have our national awards and recognition. So we have 10,000 each awarded for Teacher of the Year, Student of the Year, and Administrator of the Year. We also have a $2,000 award for State Innovation of the Year, Workforce Development. And we also have local excellence and advocacy. And then we have scholarships and incentive grants as well. So lots of great ways that you can not only encourage somebody who's done really excellent work, but then if you're the nominator and they win, then you also get to come to the conference for free, and you also get you and your program will get a lot of visibility that way as well. Our Program Succeed When Learners Lead initiative is really trying to encourage local programs to have adult learners at the table at the local program. And so we have seen some great things done with this newer initiative. In fact, in the state of Indiana, they were the winners last year, and they were able, through this initiative, to bring in $16 million of additional funding to the field of adult education in Indiana. So it was amazing work that was done there. really encouraging student leadership. So they had over 200 adult learners that joined them on the Capitol to talk with legislators. They had briefings. They just did amazing work. So I just encourage you, if you're interested in that, check it out. We also have a graduation fund. I'm particularly proud of this because the idea behind this is that we have this longitudinal alumni study. And what we want to do is we want to track when these learners come into our programs and then they graduate, they get their high school equivalency or they get a specific certification that they came in for. What happens to them after 2 years, 4 years, and 6 years, that kind of thing. So what we're doing is we're partnering with local programs. Local programs can participate as a partner. They get visibility on our website. They also get the opportunity to win $500, and we run these drawings throughout the year. But then they encourage the adult learners to participate. The adult learners can apply for $1,000. So that's kind of fun and exciting. But I think the bigger picture is that this came out of a conversation I had with an adult learner in 2017. It was the first time that we had ever held a Capitol Hill Day. We were there in DC. And as she and I were talking, she was telling me, this lovely lady was telling me what she had gone through as a child. Her mother was a drug addict. She was one of 9 kids. She was unfortunately raped when she was 13. And by the time she was 17, she had 3 children and was homeless on the street. She found out about a local adult ed program and it changed her life. The local adult ed program provided wraparound services. So the first thing they did was help her children while she was getting her GED. And she went on to become a teacher. And all of her children are doing well academically. And because she and I connected on Facebook, I've watched her get her first car, get her first house. I watched her hit all these amazing milestones over the years. And I would go back and talk to our board and say, we've got to find a way to track success. So that's what this is, the Alumni Graduation Fund. So I just want to encourage you, if you're interested in participating, check it out on our website.
Sharon,
Our adult learners receive free membership. There's a ton of opportunities for them. For example, there's free life insurance. There's the opportunity to apply for the graduation fund like I talked about, or to be nominated for the $10,000 Adult Learner Award of the Year. So just lots of different opportunities like that. And Steve, were you trying to say something?
yeah, I was going to ask you a quick question about the scholarship fund that you're backing up for one. Would that be kind of something that would also be available for folks who are looking to do like pathways, like if they complete one program and moving into another program, something of that?
So what it is that each program would apply to be a partner, and then their logo and everything's up there. And then what they do is they encourage the learners to participate in this study. The learners receive 2 forms per year to fill out, and it's, of course, they're telling us themselves, self-reporting the information. And that's really it. And then the local programs are entered into a drawing multiple times per year. The learners can apply for the graduation fund multiple times per year. And our goal is that we have $40,000 to give away in incentives. So, for sure, there's a number of folks that will win, that will be selected for the drawings. But our goal is just to continue to get this great and rich information from the alumni so that we can then have it analyzed and create some reports and briefs on this. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I was thinking it was like a graduation to move on. If you complete one program, moving into another program, kind of continuing education. But if that makes sense, what you just explained. Thank you so much.
Right, correct. I did want to mention that with this adult learner opportunity, we've had local programs send in, I kid you not, one program in Connecticut, 438 adult learners who then received all these benefits. So it's an opportunity there for your learners. I mentioned the insurance option is $65,000 of free life insurance over 2 years, so $65,000 per year. We also have the Adult Ed Advocast, and this is where adult learners can showcase their success, but also advocates in general can showcase why they're passionate about adult education. And this was started by our state advocate fellows. We also have the Behind Every Employer. This is a great opportunity for local programs to get on the map so that local employers know who they are and can connect with them. There's a toolkit, there's an opportunity to build a local brand. We also have a $15,000 scholarship that goes with this, so lots of opportunities there. But then we also have a podcast, and I have been so impressed by the speakers on the podcast. So if you haven't checked it out, I invite you to. It's Behind Every Employer podcast. I mentioned earlier about the adult learners and some of their benefits, and one of the opportunities we have is we're a direct pipeline to Amazon. So one of the things that Amazon did is remove the barrier of needing their high school equivalency to apply, but then also they removed the barrier of needing your bachelor's degree to go into management. So there's a lot of opportunities there, and we continue to be a pipeline for them. We also have partnered with Google for years. I believe we're one of the few programs, if not the only, that has had a year-over-year partnership with Google. We've done a lot of different things. Google Applied Digital Skills, helping learners to set up a Gmail, for example, to learn their way around the G Suite, that sort of thing. But then recently we had over 200 Google scholarships that we awarded to adult learners, and we were recently awarded 500 more. So our goal is to really help these learners to get up and out of poverty into a family sustaining wage. The Google certificates provide, typically once they have that certificate and they're employed, anywhere from $63,000 to $83,000 per year. So it's an opportunity there. We also partner with IBM Skills Build. They have over 11,000 badges and credentials, and it's completely free. We have an adult education channel, and we've been working with IBM to include additional resources as well for the adult ed teachers and administrators, but that's also an opportunity there as well. We also work with the Center of Excellence in Apprenticeships, and we are the only adult education association there at the table. And our goal is to do a number of things to really socialize and disseminate information about apprenticeships, because we know a lot of local programs are not engaging with in this area. So we want to encourage that. And then we also want to create a directory of local apprenticeships that are taking place. So that's coming, that's in the future. But this has been a lot of fun. It's sponsored and funded through the Department of Labor. So we've been working on that for a while. And I think we have 2 more years to go with this. We also have the Online Entrepreneurship Institute, and this is where we help folks put their GED and workforce skills to work literally, so helping your adult learners. And this was launched on February 3rd, 2022, and there's openings right now if you're interested. There are openings where you at your local program can participate as well. We also have, through the AARP Foundation, we have an entrepreneurship program going right now as well, a pilot program. Our goal is to bring in over 1,000 local learners and to help them start their own businesses. And, oh, I see this took me to, so we have our COABE journal, which is, I think you mentioned, Stephen. We've had a number of different journals that we've published, everything from workforce literacy to students as leaders, prison literacy, just all kinds of topics. You can check it out on our journal archives and see there's just a lot here, even voices from the field, digital literacy, those sorts of things. So that is something that we publish on a twice per year basis. And that's been a lot of fun as well. In fact, we invite the field to submit articles. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you have some research that you would like to share, we would greatly appreciate that. And I am seeing, for some reason, it keeps bringing me back here. So give me 1 second and I'm going to stop sharing. And while I am stopping for a moment, if you've had any questions on what I've shared so far, I'd love to hear about that.
I do have one for you. When things such as like the Entrepreneurship Institute and a few of those others where students are being engaged, do they have to be members of COABE in order to apply, a student member?
So no, but I would really encourage you to join. Even if you joined yourself, it's $45 per year, or if you joined your state association, you get 2 for 1. They have benefits of membership as well. So you don't have to be a member, but I encourage you to be a member.
So I'm already a member of COABE, so I double dip. I'm unfortunate, but I was just curious on the student side if they needed to have a student membership or if it would come through us as a registered member, that kind of thing.
And it can be both ways. Student membership is free, so they can join on their own, or you can send lists in. State associations have sent lists in. You can do it that way. If that helps, does that make sense?
100%. I think that student membership being free is ideal because that would be a reason for us to encourage them to sign up.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. And so we've made as many opportunities for them to join as possible. We also have, I should have mentioned, we have a strand at the COABE conference specifically for students as leaders. And not only is it free for them to attend the conference, but we pay for their meals. We make sure that they go to the networking events, or they're able to attend networking events at no charge as well. So we really try to make it as feasible as possible for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to mention here our Move Ahead with Adult Ed. This is a national public awareness campaign. It won 2 International Davies Awards. And what we did was, when the field was dealing with the impact of COVID, many of our local programs were considering shuttering their doors and just closing down because the enrollment was so low, and our programs had been recalcitrant to getting online. Frankly, they really felt like, how am I going to teach an adult learner who is maybe, learning how to speak the language? They're at the beginning phases. How am I possibly going to teach them online? And so that was one issue. And then the second was, many of them were not online to begin with. They didn't have marketing online. So what we did was we worked with Full Capacity Marketing, an award-winning firm that helped provide marketing tools for local programs that are free. We also were able to go out and get a Google ad campaign, and we're able to leverage that $120,000 worth of funds, and we've gotten those year over year since then. And what we did is we encouraged the local programs get on the map so that adult learners can find you, and then we would put out these ads on Google, and over 200,000 students found programs that way. So that's still in play. You're welcome to get on the map if you're not there yet. And we continue to push out through Google Ads. We have a really great response on that, and we've definitely seen a lot of growth. Actually, our local programs are now past the pre-COVID days in terms of enrollment, so it's exciting. I mentioned this about the journal already. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and ask if there are any questions.
Don't everybody be shy all of a sudden.
Well, Steve, I can't hear you, but I just want to thank you for allowing me to present during this Lunch and Learn. I'll put our information for COABE in there in the chat box, and I'll also put my email address. Anyone can reach out to me anytime. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Well, I was certainly seeing if anybody, I want to make sure everybody's questions can get them answered. As I was telling Sharon, as we were setting this up, I think just so everybody knows, one of the reasons that I did this was because I'd heard about COABE. I've been using some of the stuff to learn. I personally, when I joined workforce, was kind of when you guys were coming in with the apprenticeship information, and that was an area I was underinformed on. So I used a lot of the resources from COABE and that you had on your website to inform myself in understanding from a national perspective what an apprenticeship was. So I saw the value for sure about what COABE did and the partnerships that I saw them engaging in with ACE in the Florida system. And especially when I saw I was a member because I was a member of ACE, it kind of seemed silly for me not to take advantage of seeing some of the resources available. So I highly encourage others to consider that as well. And I also wanted to just share from my perspective that while COABE, in the wording of the organization sounds like it's just focused on adult basic education, that type of thing. It is a broader organization with that, and it does fit some of our other areas such as workforce, GED education, and non-traditional student engagement. Particularly, I would say, not just folks who are doing GED education. I think a lot of us just think of that, but there are definitely resources available and untapped resources. And then lastly, in one of our previous conversations this summer, and some of the feedback we've received, folks have been asking about sources for grants and other opportunities. Because everybody's out there trying to grab some money that we can hopefully utilize. And I did want to put out there that, this is an untapped resource. I'd probably say for a lot of our Florida institutions, at least at our AFC member institutions, probably don't tap COABE as much, as for opportunities, and knowing that you're there and able and willing to support some of the initiatives that we have going on in the state is helpful as well. So I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to introduce you to our population. And again, I will be posting this on our YouTube site and through our social media as well, so that members who might not have been able to join us today will also have the opportunity to see this and hear more as well.
Great, thank you,
Yeah,
Steve.
I do have a question. I do have a quick question that just came in the chat for me. Can grant funding, that's a great question, Diane. Can grant funding or other areas possibly be used for memberships?
Can funding in other, yes. Yep,
Okay.
unless it's, restricted grant funding, but if it's unrestricted, it sure can.
Okay, perfect. Because
And I
that
would also mention, Stephen, one of the things we love is give back to the field. So we are always looking for ways. So for example, that AARP Foundation project, that's $100,000 back to the field. And we will continue, like the Dollar General Literacy Foundation. We've given probably $500,000 to the field through that. And there are many other initiatives like that. So when you're a member, you can apply for those.
Even better. Okay. All right, last chance before we give Miss Bonnie her lunch hour back. So she can
I'm just looking at the notes, and thank you, Janaya. That's so kind of you. Awesome. Glad you'll be there. That's great.
It looks like we are clear, and with other questions, and I will certainly follow up with you if we have anything coming through the other ways. But again, thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it. And excellent presentation. I know my eyes are opened about some of the recognition opportunities and some of the support funding, because I know particularly for us, digital literacy has been coming down the pipe from the state. We use some very state specific required things, but there's also some gaps in there, and knowing that you also have some of those things. We're looking to teach more entrepreneurship in our employability sections, knowing that you have entrepreneurship as an option, for online folks who might want to do more. I think just being aware is the key, and we really do appreciate that, and look forward to working with you more in the future.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Thank you for your hospitality and generosity in opening up this session too.
Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your day, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care. Bye now.